When talking about software-defined networking in the data center, we usually first have to take a look about the challenges that we are facing in the data center today. And usually these challenges come down to functionalities of top-of-rack switches, scalability, and functionalities about network integration. When we take a look about what happened in the data center in the last few years, we see that the computing layer gained a lot about flexibility by virtualizing computing resources. The problem now is that our networks are still operating in the same way like they have done before this operation. And the thing is that this flexibility that we gained at the computing layer by virtualization are somehow still limited because of our network that is still operating in the same way as before. So when taking a look about how we could actually address these challenges in the data center, we see an approach that is very promising. This approach involves the creation of overlay networks. Contrail actually uses technologies that have been around for a while in MPLS networks. To be more precise, Contrail uses MPLS Layer 3 VPNs and Ethernet VPN in the existing networks. However, there is no need for the top-of-rack switches or for any physical hardware to actually support these kind of technologies. The requirement of our physical network go down to plain IP forwarding. So whenever my devices are capable of forwarding an IP packet, I can use them in my Contrail architecture. The data center switch in turn acts more or less like a simple P-router in MPLS network. It has no in-depth knowledge about the actual virtual networks in my network because this functionality has been moved to the computing layer. So in turn the requirements for my physical networking devices in the data center go down a lot, which of course means that I have less effort to actually integrate these devices into my systems. So what we are really talking about is network virtualization to be integrated into our existing computing virtualization with far fewer limitations than we had before. So with Contrail you have the possibility to define projects and assign users to these kind of projects. There's also the possibility to define which user is able to do which activity in which projects. This in turn means that you have the possibility to delegate the responsibility or the activity to the project owners. As before, the users can start their virtual machines in the orchestration tool, but now they have the possibility to define on their own into which virtual network these machines should belong. And they also have the possibility to define virtual networks within their projects without the need to touch the physical networking devices. They have no need to have any depth networking knowledge to do this kind of activities, and they can very easily define which network is allowed to talk to which other network by using simple to define policies in the Contrail controller. Within their projects or within different projects, the users could even reuse existing IP addresses, using the same IP addresses on the one hand for a production environment and use the same addresses on the other hand for a testing environment. You could either use the built-in graphical user interface for a quick start in Contrail, or on the other hand, use the flexible RESTful API that Contrail is offering you. Using this RESTful API, you have even more opportunities than using the graphical user interface, and this in turn allows you to use your own scripts and call certain functionalities of Contrail out of these scripts, or even define your own graphical user interface and just call the graphical user interfaces of Contrail for certain tasks. So apart from all the features and functionalities that we have discussed so far, it's also important to note that Contrail is actually available as open source version. So you could download the source code from the web page, could make your own changes if you need to, and compile your own version of Contrail to your specific needs. Contrail uses standard protocol like BGP and OVSDB to actually communicate with the outside world. So whenever you have a responsibility or you have the requirement to get out of the virtualized Contrail world, you can use these kind of protocols or any device that is capable of running these protocols. So you could run a Juniper MX or a Juniper QFX series to actually make the communication available between the physical and the virtual world.